Lights Eye in the Forest. Horror story. My name is Lucio. I won't say my last name, not because what I'm going to tell is top secret or anything like that. It's just that because of my work, I'm known by many people. I am from the corporate of a supermarket chain. I am in charge of supervising the northern zone of the state of Morelos and the southern zone of Mexico City. On that occasion, I had a meeting in Cuernavaca on Monday, and to avoid being late, I decided to leave from Saturday night, almost at dawn. Well, I was driving along the highway, which for those of you who don't know, goes through the middle of a wooded area. The road was practically alone, plus it was raining, so my speed was considerably lower than the maximum speed allowed. Suddenly, a light appeared in the rearview mirror. It wasn't two lights, it was only one, so I assumed it was a motorcycle, or maybe a car with a blown headlight. At first, the light looked quite far away, but it quickly began to approach at a very high speed. I got a little nervous and opted to pull over to let the vehicle pass. I definitely didn't want a collision, much less in the company car. Well, I got out of the path of that light, and yes, indeed, it went by very fast. The thing is that it was not a motorcycle, and it was not a car with a broken headlight. It was something else. I have no idea. It made no noise when it passed, as there was little light, and it passed very fast. I could not distinguish its color or its shape. The only thing I noticed was that it had no wheels. It was not resting on the ground. It flew by. It was impossible for me to fit any logical explanation. I even remember that I said to myself that it was possibly a helicopter that for some reason had passed so close to the ground. But no, because that thing did not make any noise. I stayed parked and with the caution lights on for a moment, then continued on my way. I advanced a few kilometers until I saw a car parked on the other side of the road. It was a gray Honda. I don't remember the exact model. The only light that was on was the one inside the vehicle. I thought for sure it was a couple that had not waited to get to the hotel, but I was very surprised when I saw that in the back seats there were two children, and they were banging on the windows, asking for help. I had lost my wife and daughter 6 years ago in a road accident, so the scene of children alone in a car in the middle of nowhere had a huge impact on me. I stopped my car. I don't think I even locked it properly before getting out. I crossed the road to get to the gray Honda. The kids were crying, screaming. They were small. The biggest one looked 9 and the other one looked 5. I tried to open the 4 doors, but I couldn't. Everything was stuck. I went back to my car, opened the trunk, and took out the crosshead, went back to the Honda, and with the tool I broke the driver's side glass, removed the locks, and the kids could get out. I tried to find out what was going on, but the kids were so scared that they could barely say a few words that didn't seem coherent with each other. I called the police. They didn't answer. It just rang and kept ringing. Typical Mexican, I hung up. The older boy had calmed down a bit, and then he was able to tell me more or less what was going on. He told me that they were coming back from a party, and suddenly they saw a very strong light that illuminated the whole inside of the car. When the light went was gone, going into the wooded area. His father lined up the car, locked them in, and went running to look for his mother. Words more, words less. I had to help those kids. I felt the need. I got the kids back in the gray Honda. I dialed the police and gave my cell phone to the boy to tell what was going on when someone took the call. I decided to go into the trees to see if I could find the couple, to be honest. I never thought about the dangerous situation I could be getting myself into for people I had never seen in my life. But like I said, I lost my family on a highway, and I didn't want those kids to go through the same thing. Lights Eye in the Forest. Horror story. I've never been much of a nature person, so being out in the middle of all those trees and dirt was very overwhelming for me. The noises made me quite nervous. At first I tried to run, but it didn't take long before I tripped over a branch. So after standing up, I decided to just walk at a fast pace. I could hear the insects making their insect noises, some strange bird-making noises I had never heard before. Also, an owl sounded in the distance. It seemed to be hunting for its dinner or something like that. The wind blew, pushing the branches that ended up hitting my face, making it difficult for me to move forward in a hurry. The sound of the water hitting against the leaves of the huge trees was very shocking. I felt lost, out of place. The rain blurred my vision. My shoes got stuck in the mud, and all those strange sounds made me feel dizzy. Suddenly, there was silence for a couple of seconds. I don't know why, but it was enough to calm me down, and I kept going. I saw some glimpses deeper into the trees. I knew that's where whatever was supposed to be happening was. Apart from those flashes, there was little light. Being cloudy, I couldn't see the moon, and so many trees meant that not even the light from the thunder could penetrate to where I was, so I could see better where I was stepping. As I got closer to the lights, I began to hear something, very faint, almost imperceptible. I noticed it because it was different from all the other sounds that flooded my head. It sounded as if a bunch of branches were cracking. Some slight thunder accompanied it. It also sounded as if some stones were hitting each other. It was a very strange noise. I kept moving forward. The sound was getting clearer and clearer. Although at first I thought that the lights were floating, it was not so. Since I was closer, I could notice that in reality those lights were coming out of the ground, but they did not rise much, maybe a meter. Then I could clearly see that they were not lights. They were fire, light flames from which small bursts of fire were coming out. That's why from far away, I thought they were lights that were floating. I got to where the fire was. It was an area without many trees around. You could see the sky perfectly well. I realized that it was raining, and right there, it was not falling water. That's why the fire was not extinguished. At that moment, I heard a sound that I will never forget. It was like a super powerful and very amplified buzzing sound. I felt it vibrated my brain. Suddenly, an intense light appeared above the trees. It was too bright. I even had to close my eyes because I felt they were going to burn. I couldn't take it anymore. I turned around and started running in panic. I lost a shoe. I was so scared that I left aside the reason why I had gone into that place. That is, the parents of those children. I felt that time slowed down while I was dodging branches to keep running. It was the effect of adrenaline. I finally made it back to the side of the road. Of course, I didn't come out at exactly the same place I had come in from. I came out about 70 meters from the Honda. I went to see the kids. They asked me about their parents. With a lump in my throat, I invented that they were already walking, but that they were coming slowly because their mother had hurt her foot. The children stopped crying. The big one told me that they had answered the call and that they were coming. I took my phone and crossed the road to lean on the hood of my car. I had to get some air. I was very agitated. As soon as I saw the sirens of a patrol car in the distance, I got into my car and left. I could not stay. For starters, I would be a suspect in the disappearance of that couple. And what would my defense be? That a light took them away? No, I did everything I could to help. I should not get more involved than necessary. Those of you who live in the northern part of the state of Morelos may remember that a local newspaper ran a story saying that a couple of children had been found abandoned in a gray Honda with a broken window. It was a long time ago. They never found their parents, neither alive nor dead. Nobody knows what happened to them. I don't know either, and I was there. Thank you for joining us for this spine-tingling story. We hope you found it both thrilling and thought-provoking. If you enjoyed this video, please consider participating in our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing it with your friends. Your support goes a long way in helping us create more engaging content for you. Goodbye, and may you always tread carefully in the world of the unknown.